There we go with Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker. The Vol Report brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun. CCT eyes for Lasik, cataract, and your annual visual examination. Jacob, it is dark mode. You've even got the you've even got the dark sweatshirt on. It is a nighttime game at Neyland Stadium, an SEC East matchup. This is kind of what football is all about in the SEC, right?
It is, yeah. You hit it right on the head, man. I think that this is what you play the game for. This is why you come to a university like this, to play in games like this and to have these opportunities. And it'll be amazing, man. I'm super excited.
Let's turn the clock back just a little bit,
Okay.
and I'm curious if revenge games mean much to a player as far as motivation. I don't think when the games kicked off, you're thinking about last year or what happened the year before. But is that motivation leading up to the game or even in the off season?
Yeah, I think I don't know. Revenge game is not necessarily kind of how you want to go about it, right? It's not. And truly in this game, like everything is independent of each other, right? Every week is independent of each other, and definitely every season is independent. But I mean, you look back at last year's game, and there's a lot of mistakes that we made, and whether we got outplayed or didn't play well enough, or truly just whatever happened, and we lost the game, right? And I think that that's definitely something that you don't forget, right? It's not that necessarily we're trying to go out there and get revenge, but you definitely look at that game and you say, what do we do wrong? Like, how can we adjust these things and go out there and just put our best foot forward. And we have had success against them in the past. We didn't last year. So it's just a matter of going out there and putting together a great game plan and just, man, it's the most important one because it's the next one. I think that's kind of how the team has approached it this week.
Did they do anything different defensively last year that you hadn't seen before, or how did they play you guys?
Being real, like I even didn't remember a lot from last year's game. Where obviously we've watched the film and stuff on kind of just how they played us last year and kind of what the things that worked, what the things that didn't. Um, I don't know. I feel like year to year, the same way that our offense develops a lot, I think defenses develop a lot too, and they add new wrinkles and they get new players, and so they're able to do different things, and they do some different things, and obviously an SEC defense is going to be pretty multiple. They're going to be pretty dynamic in the things they're able to do. It's just about going out there and executing, knowing your assignment, and everybody being on board and just doing their job. And I think, if you're able to do that, then you should be able to have success.
Yeah, and I don't want this to sound like kind of a stupid question because he's played a lot and he's been at Tennessee a lot. But when you talk about learning how to utilize different players, I feel like there's been a little bit of experimenting going on with Joe Milton, and it seems like to me, I know there'd been mentions of Cam Newton and the comparisons there that he had made, and I'm curious, do you, even though you've got the offseason of prep, even though he's played before, he's developed as a player, how much when you come into his senior year, do you kind of have to get a feel for what he's comfortable with as an offense? And it looks like you guys are doing that.
Yeah, I think that that goes for any time that you're getting a new quarterback, right? Whether it's a freshman or whether it's a mid-year, mid-career guy or a senior like this that's finally getting a chance to be the guy. I think you have to develop and you have to grow and adapt and like you said, figure out what he likes and figure out what he doesn't like, figure out looks that he doesn't want to run certain plays into or doesn't feel comfortable throwing the ball to. And Joe feels comfortable pretty much throwing the ball against a lot of different looks, right? His kid's got an arm and he can really throw it. He can make a lot of really, really cool throws. And so yeah, he likes to play aggressive. He likes to play fast, and that's the way that we call the game. And hopefully we'll continue to see that develop as he becomes more aware of the exact things that he likes within the offense.
Yep. And you continually make plays. So I wanna ask about your game in particular, and the Vol Report with Jacob Warren's brought to you by Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun. Enjoy life better when you see better. That's pretty important. Local vision service for LASIK, cataract surgery, and your regular eye examination. Local doctors that care about their patients. They don't just fly them in from somewhere in Florida to do your surgery and then they're then they're out. I can attest I don't have contacts nor glasses because of Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun. You just keep making plays. You made a play last week against UTSA. You've already got a touchdown under your belt, which I'm sure is nice. You seem to be in a really good rhythm and feeling comfortable. How would you evaluate your play in the first third of the season?
Um, Obviously, always room for improvement. There's always things that, you know, being the one watching the film and watching myself, going to be super skeptical, not skeptical, but super critical, um, and truly try to be real with myself about how I'm playing. And I think that this tight end group right now is playing hard. I think that we are trying, and we are trying to finish blocks, and we're trying to be really good on the perimeter about being in the right alignment, doing the right things, being in the right spots. And just trying to continue to make ourselves available for the quarterback. I think that's something that we preach a lot, is just being available, whether it's actually winning on your route or trying to get open for scrambles or whatever. But there's a lot of different things that me personally and us as tight ends can get better at. But I am happy with the way that we compete, and the way that me and all the guys just go out there and just kind of cut it loose and trust ourselves, trust our feet, trust our what we see, and just play what we see, right? They call a play in, regardless of whether the ball's coming to me or not. It's time for me to go and put my best foot forward, and go really try to make the best out of this play.
Did you play? I'm sure you probably did, but did you play defense in high school?
A little bit, I did. Definitely not a lot. I played defensive end, and then whenever we just needed a body, or someone gets hurt, or maybe it's a third down or whatever, would go in and rush the quarterback or do whatever I do. And it's not like I was amazing at it, but definitely something I've done in the past.
I'm just curious. So you weren't really in space, so this may be difficult, but Joe Milton, your quarterback, was clocked at 21.3 miles per hour, which I can actually move that fast, but I have to have a car involved.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, and that's just, if you think about his size,
Yeah.
at 6'5", 235 pounds, imagine yourself in space and you got to bring that down. That doesn't sound like any fun at all.
Doesn't sound like fun, man. And a lot of people really don't want to do it. And it's funny, you watch the film, like there's some people that, will go in there and just kind of, kind of shy away from it and just try to take legs out or whatever. And I mean, that's real. Like, that's kind of what you have to do. We call it making the business decision, right? So when you're on the field, and you have two choices. You can either go in there and really try to take him out and hit him, but if it goes bad, it's going to go bad. And then they talk about making business decisions, right? Do I risk getting hurt, or do I just kind of just shy away from it and just try to do enough just to kind of get the job done? And a lot of people have to make business decisions with him, and so it's definitely a threat, and definitely something that is really cool that our quarterback is able to do. Just how fast he moves and how big he is really special.
How much of a leader has he been? There was the players only meeting. He got involved with the scout team on defense to up their game before the UTSA game. He continues to push as hard as he can for this team to be as great as you guys can. I think that's pretty impressive.
Right, as he should. Right, I think that not to take any credit or anything away from him, but man, like, he is the guy, right? And he is the one that everybody looks to naturally, regardless of the situation, whether the kid's a freshman, or, like talked about, just a guy just now getting a start, or a 6-year senior. Man, like, that starting quarterback is the guy on the team that everybody looks at. Everybody's going to need to hear something from when things aren't going bad, or going to want that encouragement from when things are going good. And he's stepping up to the plate. And he's doing a good job of, like you said, like, not just coaching, his O-line, or saying, "Hey guys, like, come on, let's go, keep the energy up," but like the guys over there talking to the scout team defenders about how, UTSA plays this look. He's like, "Hey, I'm not trying to, like, be a jerk or whatever, but the guys at UTSA, when they're in quarters, like, they fit it this way," because he's watched so much film, right? And the coaches know all these things too, but it's different coming from a player, right? And it always will be, and it'll always be more impactful coming from someone that you look at as your peer and as your brother. And so for him to take those steps is definitely massive, and encouraging to me too, to kind of follow suit and use my influence and my voice on the team to try to get us to where we want to be.
What have you seen from South Carolina? You've had plenty of time to look over them this week. What do they like to do?
So the theme for South Carolina for as long as I can remember is having an extremely, strong D line, right? Extremely strong front seven, and then having DBs to back them up, right, to be able to make plays and fit the gaps and stuff. And so the first thing is, man, just winning the line of scrimmage. I think is going to be huge for us on Saturday, and that means not necessarily pancaking people every time, whatever, but just being able to hold your own, being able to hold gas, being able to create space. Be able to cut people out, being able to do all these different things that kind of allow our running backs to go make plays on safeties, on linebackers, all these things. It starts with that. I think that if you control line of scrimmage in any game, you're going to have a really good chance of winning. Secondly, is just being able to recognize coverages, being able to recognize the things that they're doing. It's not like they do just an extreme amount of things, but they do what they do pretty well and do a good job of matching routes and playing in their zones when they play zones. So just man, having the right calls, it's on kind of on everybody, right? Having the right calls and then being able to go out and execute and being able to recognize kind of what's happening will be massive.
That they have struggled in pass coverage. They're last in the SEC in pass defense by about 40 yards
Yeah.
to the next to last. And I know you don't want to say anything bad about them, but when you go against a team that's still finding themselves in that regard, how exciting is that for you as a potential receiver?
I mean, it is exciting. Our guys should be, looking forward to the opportunity to go make plays. I think that um, it's cool because like football is not to get all sappy philosophical. Football is really cool because regardless of how many yards per catch or yards per game this team has given up, you still have to go out. You have to run your route the correct way. You have to execute it. You can't have bad feet. And then once you get to it, you have to catch the ball, right? You have to actually make the play whenever it comes your way. The quarterback has to be able to make the throw. The O line has to protect. There's so many different variables that come into this game, and so it's truly just a matter of going out and, like I said earlier, like if we don't win the line of scrimmage, it doesn't matter if they have the last covered defense. It doesn't matter because
Mhm.
quarterback's gonna get sacked every time. So I think it's just a matter of everybody, pulling their weight. Everybody just trying to give their all to go out there and be successful, and then let guys like Squirrel go out there and run all over the field, and let Brew go catch a ball at a yard and then make it 15, right? Just by the way he runs the ball is kind of what we're looking for. So
Let me ask you about Dante Thornton. He's had a. I mean, we could argue whether or not their drops are good coverage, but I think a lot of people thought he would have more of an impact to this point.
sure.
Can you describe kind of where he is right now and where he would like to be?
Man, that kid. First of all, I didn't realize how young he was when he transferred in. he's he's comfortable. He's energetic. He just is super cool to be around, right? And so when he came in and just kind of acclimated so quickly, for some reason I just assumed he was an older guy that had a lot of just time in this thing. But he's a younger guy, right? And so I just trying to understand that and understanding that man, there's going to be times whenever you're struggling just seeing the ball to the tuck and just like man securing a catch or making that play over the top, right? And he's playing in a crazy environment. And at Oregon, right, he played in a really good environment there as well. But playing in a crazy environment, man, a lot of pressure, asked to do a lot of things. And that's not making excuses for him, right? He's got to catch balls. He's got to make plays whenever they come his way because that's what he wants and that's what he's capable of doing. And he knows that, right? He knows that he's fully capable of doing this. So it's I hate to see it because I know he's so frustrated about just things like that, right? And he's made plays, right? He's had his time whenever he's done his job, and he will continue to do that as he grows and as he just kind of settles in and really figures this thing out.
And we've really seen it too at times. It can take a receiver. I think the ultimate example is Jalen Hyatt, right?
Yeah.
It can take a year to sometimes get a flow for this offense
Yeah.
because it ain't going to slow down for you.
No, it can't, and it won't. And I think that it's just a matter of finding, like you said, finding your spot and finding how you fit. And the same way Joe has a lot of plays that he feels really comfortable with. As a receiver, you should have a few plays that you were like, wow, like this is really a route or a concept that I excel in and that I'm super excited to run. So, run all of them just, like they matter or whatever, like they're the most important one. But understanding when your number is called and like, hey, I got a chance here, being able to focus, being able to lock in and go make your play is a really big skill that you have to have.
I know that you guys were a known commodity halfway through the 2022 season. Okay. So you get halfway through and they're like, they're going to throw the ball. They've got a quarterback back playing really well, and they've got a bunch of good receivers.
Yeah.
Still, though, when you have the off season to prepare for a team instead of 6 days,
Yeah.
I would imagine philosophically people come at you a little different. Do you see more drop coverage? Do you see more of that than you did last year?
A lot of things kind of just depend. I think that um, a few times there's been just kind of as we've gone along, right, since 2021 when Hype got here. You see one thing on film, right? Whether they are, they're a base four down quarters team who likes to play tight to the hash and likes to match out their guys on the outside, whatever. And then they'll come out on Saturday and they'll be playing, cover zero and trying to blitz everybody, or they'll be playing cover three, cover one, trying to match routes. Like people change up a lot just depending on how they think that they can stop our talent and how they can stop our weapons on the outside, but also be able to stop, kind of what we have going on the inside. Um, so yeah, you get a lot of very varying schemes and varying coverages, varying fronts of people just trying to disrupt our timing and disrupt the tempo or whatever it may be. Um, so yeah, I can't necessarily say that people give you weird stuff or everybody gives you the same thing. Just kind of depends on how they feel they match up with us on the perimeter, um, and how they think they can stop the run in the box.
So I'll be the first to say that I don't know when Cooper Mays is coming back, whether that's this week or 2 or 3 weeks down the road. But when he does, what does he bring to the table other than his play? And I'm not knocking Ollie Lane or anybody else, but just as what does he bring as a leader, as a tough guy, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this too, right? It's just him. Um, you feel his presence, right? You just feel kind of him as a just a person, like you said, as a leader. His experience is unmatched by anyone else that he played that pretty much is on the field, right? He's been playing just as long, if not longer, than everybody else on the field, and has a lot of recognition for the preseason stuff and being one of the top centers in the league. And it's just kind of, I guess, a confidence thing with everybody. I think we've developed that with the guys that we're playing with now. Is like after you play with them for a little while, you develop that trust and you develop that confidence. And that's something that cool. You look in there, center, and Coop's in there, or whoever's in there at this point. After a few games, like you have that confidence in them too. But you look in there, Coop's in there. It's like, okay, cool, we got it. Right call, whether he's wrong or not. Like we're living with it. We'll stick with it, and then just trusting him to be in the right spot when he needs to um, be able to handle all these dudes. Like he's played against these guys as well, right? The same guys that we played against last year. The same, he's seen a lot of these looks. He's seen a lot of these players. So it's more of just an experience thing, really, at the end of the day.
Yep. And he seems like the type of guy that I don't want to go out there and dog it for a play.
No, never.
Is he the guy that'll get in your face a little bit if that happens?
He'll let you have it, man. But it's because like it's out of love, like, and it's out of love for himself as well. I think that's a part of the team is sometimes you have to be a little selfish, right? I don't want someone to leave me out to dry, right? So when someone leaves me out to dry, if I've never done that to you, right, and I wouldn't do it to you, don't do it back to me. So like if we're supposed to be on this double team, you come into this double team with me and we'll work it up, right? Don't leave your buddy is kind of what we say. Like don't leave your man hanging. So he wouldn't do it to anybody else. And I can truly, believe that and say that with confidence. So when somebody does it to him or when someone doesn't pull or when something's wrong, he's the first one to be like, yo, what's up? Like, come on, we got to figure this out. Like, and if it's in the middle of a drive, then it's encouraging and it's, hey, forget about it. Next play. Because he understands how important this tempo is. All of it really starts with him and how fast he's able to get lined up and get his hand on the ball, be ready to snap the ball. But then just how he handles the sidelines and how he handles his players is really special.
It's like Top Gun. You never leave your wingman.
Never leave your wingman.
That's absolutely right. But you guys don't play like a shirtless volleyball a lot like in the original Top Gun, though, right?
Not in the fall, in the summer, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe if I was ripped like you guys, I would too.
Hey.
He's Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker. The Vol Report brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun, Lasik and cataract surgery, as well as your annual examinations from local doctors who absolutely care. For Jacob, I'm Dave Hooker. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.